Good afternoon. We are live. How is everyone doing tonight? It is Saturday, and we're doing something I've been putting off since February. We're finally updating the Z on v2.26. Got my parts. Got metal gears. Snake. Let's do this. Oh, at some point, probably next week, we're putting clipper on this guy too. No pimp hat. Yes, no pimp hat. Ryan B, got to update the intro. I am working on a new intro video there. So let's get this guy apart. I'm hoping to do the least amount of teardown on this guy as possible. Simply for the fact that the gantry's already 2.4 on this guy. It's beta 2.4, so it's technically outdated, but I'm not going to be doing the gantry. So we're doing the Z. Figure I haven't worked on any builds in a while, but as well do a build. Oh, and tip, for those that have boated tube feeding into your afterburner, get the stuff with 3mm ID. Don't use 2mm ID. Or don't use Capricorn tube. Use 3mm ID for the stuff that feeds down into your afterburner. It's less friction. Your afterburner motor won't have to work as hard. These in light preload. They're whatever rails CNA sent me 2.5 years ago when I ordered them. I don't think there was even the option at the time. Be building a V0 soon. Really looking forward to it. Awesome. Please follow the manual. Please. I need a container. As long as you follow the manual, you'll be fine. What do you have printing right now? So right now, for those that caught the Thursday stream, I have a Dragonfly in here. So what I've been doing is I've actually had the V6 in it for the past 2 days, printing test pieces, random objects. Because to do a review, I have to compare it. So I had the V6, I printed a bunch of stuff. I swapped the Dragonfly in with the rigid mount. It actually is rigid mounted now. Found out it has 4 holes. You can mount it using the same rigid mounting system that you can do for a Dragon. So it's rigid mounted, and I'm printing the exact same things with the exact same G code, so I can do a apples to apples comparison between the two. So manual, what manual? The manual for the V0, because if you don't follow the order of operations when you're building a V0, you're going to have a bad time. Trust me. Believe me, talk to any of the devs who were involved with the development of it, how many times we've had to take it apart to change one thing. Got a Dragonfly on the way, same package. Honestly, I'm legit so far pretty impressed with the Dragonfly. if you think of it more of a souped up V6 than a cheaper Dragon. If you look at it as a souped up V6 or a souped up Mark 8 extruder, then a cheaper Mosquito or Copperhead or Dragon, it fares better in that regard, in my opinion. Exploded view on Fusion. You could do that. Like, the switch wire is so easy, you can just look at the Fusion. But the manual for the V0 has all the locations where you need to pre-install M3 nuts, and you have to follow the order of operations. If you don't put things together in a certain order, it won't work. Like, it's a 165-page fully illustrated manual. Come on, guys, use it. Old spec from the back. You want old spec? I still use this. This is the Bowden inlet from when this guy was a V2.0. And I still use this. Like, this part is 2.5 years old. It was printed on my V1. Oh, and don't do what I did. I have the gasket on the frame, not on the panels. So all it does is just collect dog hair when I have the panels off. Please don't do that. But I didn't know that at the time. Not following the order of operations. That's a paddling. Yes. What material do you use for the paneling? This is acrylic. Or no, this is plexiglass. Smoked plexiglass from Tap Plastics, just for the look. Acrylic works fine. Just be aware, over a long time it may start to sag because it doesn't have the temperature resistance, but it works. The back panel was ABS. Again, from Tap Plastics in the US. And yes, they are Masumi corner cubes. I like them. The doggo cam. Sometimes he'll come down here if the wife goes to bed and he's not in the bedroom with her. He'll come down here and he'll sit outside the door if I'm streaming. But lately, no. So what I'm really hoping is, and I'm going to go over a few things learned over the years, is I could just do a straight swap out replacement here. I gooped when I built this guy back when it was 2.2, and I trimmed my belts flush. Or actually, no, I trimmed my belts flush 2.1. So I'm hoping I have enough extra belt. If not, we're going to have to run new belts, and I'm out of Triangle Labs Gates belts, so I'm going to have to use some lower quality belts for now. Hopefully not. We'll see. Did you add those handles on top? I like that. These handles are from 2.1 or 2.2. They're from V0 or V2.0. They've been around that long, but I think they were removed in 2.2, I believe. But the nice thing about them is they rest so that when you take your top panel or your front panel off, you can rest it on these, so it's not resting directly on the panel. But I think these were removed with 2.4 because now the doors just open out. But these are ABS, and I pick up the whole printer with these. It supports them just fine. Yeah, I think we had them up until 2.4, because 2.4 we went with the doors that open, which I don't like those doors, simply for the fact every time I cut acrylic or plexiglass, I break it. So I'm just keeping the old style. Yes, they do act like clamps to keep the top panel down. Okay. So that is that. My Z idlers are not spec. They're one of the random designs that we were working on, that RCF was working on between 2.2 and 2.4. I can't actually run the 2.4 Z idlers because they sit up higher. So I would need longer belts, and I can't go with longer belts because I cut them flush, and I don't have any more Gates belts on hand. So I lose like 5 or 10 millimeters of Z, but I have tall boy if I need to go big. So this guy actually only have it limited to like 220 or 230 on the Z. So let me get rid of all this scrap plastic that's been accumulated over the past year. And it's actually the first time I've looked at these guys since, am I going 9mm? No, Tallboy is 9mm. This guy's still 6. It's a 250, and I haven't had any issues with 6mm belts on it since it was built. So I have no problem running 6mm belts still. But I am checking, because I've been using belts in a lot of the idlers since 2.1. No cracks, no breaks, no slipping. Everything's good. Yeah, everything looks healthy. Also, handles on the front are real nice. So now the fun part. Let me loosen the belts actually right now. So how do we... Let's see these, yeah. Loosen those. So I'm hoping I could do these one at a time. Am I going to be putting clipper on it? Yes. I have the Raspberry Pi here. I have an alternate mount. I got to figure out... When I flip this over, if you look on the picture I posted on Twitter, at 3DPNero, you'll see what we have working with underneath the hood on this guy. Because this guy is not spec. Not spec at all. There we go. Okay, belts are loose. Let's see here. So yeah. So for those that want to see, these are my idlers. So they're an older, midway between 2.2 and 2.4 style. But I can't switch to 2.4 because they would sit up higher. And I can't do that with the amount of belt I have because I'm reusing. Go Planet. Okay. So I'll flip it over and you can see what we're working with. Make sure I didn't crush anything. What am I sitting on? Oh, that's that. Okay. So this is the underside of v2.26. The panel here, that is aluminum. That's a 1/8 inch thick aluminum plate. It's mounted to the frame. My power supply is mounted to it with rubber standoff, so it's not actually touching metal. I got a Duet. It's a Physec Duet clone with the old school ramps expander with 2208s. So for those that don't know, back when the V2 came out, when Russian Cat Food developed it, he had dual ramps, and it wasn't Clipper, it was still running Marlin. So what it was is there's enough extra pinout on a ramps to actually control, I think, another 3 motors if you reassign pins. So you would basically strap 2 ramps together, and that would be enough to actually run a V2. Now, you were limited to like 100 millimeters a second because 8-bit Marlin on Core XY. But the alternative to that was full-on duet. Okay? And the thing was, a duet plus DuX is expensive in a lot of places. In Canada, it's like $500 at the time. So the mid-tier option, if you wanted to be able to run the printer as fast as it could and not have to deal with the disadvantage of 8-bit Marlin, was this way, which was you would use the expansion board designed to run with ramps, which was basically only the stuff you needed from the second ramps in a single package. And you would pair that with a clone duet. So this whole setup with even TMC 2208s, because 2209s weren't out yet, would be cheaper than buying one legit duet. And you would get all the advantages of it. So that's the setup I went with. But now, with Klipper, SKRs, all the other stuff, the advances, this is an old setup. I think I'm probably still one of the only people, if not the only person, still running this setup. So, what's the story behind the name Russian cat food? If you ask him about it, it's, have you ever seen Russian cat food? Or something like that. So yeah, so this is the old way. So when I go to flash Klipper on it, which if you're going to watch next week's stream, it's going to be so enthralling because it's going to be staring at spreadsheets in code for quite a while. Because it's literally we're going to be creating a whole configuration from scratch because there is no Klipper configuration for this guy. So I have pinouts and I have a Voron config for SKR, and we're just going to have to just mash them together to make it work. So we got Physec Duet 1.02, I believe. The 2208s are cooled by a little 40 millimeter Noctua I have here with a buck converter. I got my Omron SSR here, LRS 200. I got that fancy filtered mains inlet that you really don't need. And then I got a panel do, which I hope I can keep. I really like the panel do. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the panel do. Eric, you would have to ask him. So yeah, so I guess we'll go through this one motor at a time. And we got some assemblies to go through. So I did do my homework, and we're going to have to start with heat sets. I don't know if Klipper supports it yet. I think it can talk through... somebody has it working through Moonraker, I believe. Through the Moonraker API, you can get it to work, I believe. So it is possible. However, I have no idea how to do it, and so I'm going to have to figure that out. We're going to be heat setting some inserts. Do I have enough heat set inserts? That is a very good question. I've ordered more. They're just, China, and they're on their way. But I'm hoping that there is enough legacy in here from original design, because I don't think they bothered changing it, that I could just use the longer ones. I have a ton of the longer ones. So that's 5 mil. That's 6. You know what? Yeah, that'll work. I'm just going to use the longer ones. I'll make it work. And this is actually the first time I've used ABS on the textured side. I never used the textured side. But I was being fancy tonight. Well, for this. There's a GitHub repo for it. Awesome. Is there any way to run TMC 2209s in standalone and Klipper? You can run them just straight plugin, I believe. Because I did that with which one? One of my printers for a while. They default to stealth chop only mode, though, I believe. And you have to control it with a pot, with the potentiometer for the voltage. Oh, and I did go ahead. I didn't. I'm just trying it out right now, but I did set up Streamlabs. So I think that shows if anyone donates or subscribes or super chats or any of that stuff, it actually pops up. I don't have a theme picked or anything yet. I think it's working right now. I'm not 100% sure. It should be. I did the test and it said it was working. But I test the audio before every stream, and how many times have we had audio problems? So I think I have that set up. Can't you control more than one stepper motor with one driver? No, you can control more than one stepper motor with one driver, but not if you want them to be able to run independently. So if a lot of times you see on like a Barcool $9.99 heat insert fund. Okay. Test. Yeah. And Brian B 549 test. Okay, it's not. Why aren't you showing up? Oh. Okay. I heard the noise. I heard the noise. Okay, I heard the noise again. Test fail. Okay, so let me try. Okay, there it is. There it is. Okay. I think I have it. Oh, I have to have it on the top of OBS. There it is. Okay, there it is. Okay, sorry guys, I didn't realize that. So I have to have that at the top. Okay, there we go. For those that don't know, with OBS, you have like, I guess it's your sources here, there's priority to them. So I have to have it a higher priority than other stuff for it to show up. Okay, there we go. Okay. Corbin, $5. Test 2. Let's see. So there is a bit of delay. Testing. John Clark, $5. As always, thank you for anyone who donates. Donations pretty much go directly into the stream itself. Paying for equipment. I am looking at trying to get a better camera right now. I know we recently updated. Well, not recently, but one of the first purchases for the stream was this camera, which works fine. I think the camera works fine. It's just I find it's not as crisp of an image, especially over here, as I would like. So there we go. Okay, so Streamlabs works. Awesome. That's good. No, really overhead. Yay! So I don't. That's the complete default settings. Like, if I want a theme, I have to pay like $15 a month for it, which honestly isn't that bad for all they offer. So I'll probably be setting that up soon. I just wanted to make sure it actually, worked first. Okay, for those that have never put a heat set in, you basically want to be using the same temperature you would print the plastic at. So in this case, this is ABS. I find about 220 works pretty good because you really don't want to melt the plastic too much and burn it. What upgrade am I doing? This guy, v2.26, has been running the 2.2 Z assembly, and I'm finally upgrading him to 2.4. So we're putting in 2.4 Z modules. And then also, we're going to be doing some work on the bottom compartment, because I got to figure out how to fit a Raspberry Pi in here. And a buck converter, which I still need to buy. Oh, Lamology. $20. Thanks for the tip about the inductive sensors the other week. It helped on my upgrade. Awesome. That's good to hear. Glad that was helpful. So yeah, these guys stick out a little bit, but yeah, the steampunk vibe or something. I don't know. I'm a very function over form type person in terms of appearances. So as long as it works, it works. So they do stick out a bit, but it was either use heat set inserts that stick out a bit or don't use any because I'm running low. Yeah, that's good. Not melting anything. Can a Pi Zero run Clipper with the V2? So the problem with running a Pi Zero will handle Clipper just fine if you're running mainsail or fluid. The only downside is it only has one USB port, so you would have to use a USB hub. It should have enough power because it handles running SwitchWire and V0 just fine. But honestly, just for the USB ports, because now you're going to need a hub, you're going to need like 3 USB ports, 2 for controllers, 1 for camera. I would go with a 3 or a 4. Because even like I have a 3A, but that only has 1 USB port as well. I wish that had 2 or more. Theoretically, it should be able to, but nobody's tried it yet. And for ease of use, with especially because you would need 2 controller boards, I would stick with a 3 or 4. Like in this guy, we'll be using a 3, a normal 3, a Pi 3, not a P plus, just a regular 3B. Found that running the soldering iron too hot will make the insert pop out when you pull out. Yes, because you liquidize the You basically, it's too hot for the plastic. Like if it gets way too hot, the plastic becomes too runny. So yeah. Heat set, so boring. Although honestly, ever since we started using heat sets, they're amazing. They just make designing, at least the people that do design, I'm crap at design. It just makes it easier. There we go. Okay, so they do stick out a bit. It's not perfect, but I don't think that'll be an issue. Because, yeah, I don't think it'll be an issue. Yeah, if it is, I can always fix it. I can swap out the ones where it is an issue. I know I got to put the bottom ones in. I'll do that after, because I don't think you guys want to watch me put heat sets in all night. So we'll break it up a bit. So, let's do a motor. Can always sand them down. I do have a bench grinder in the garage. I just need to fix it. Like a pedestal grinder style. Okay, foot off. Actually, let me get the wires out. Okay. Four, three, two, one. Yeah. So I do have everything labeled. luckily. Yeah. Four, three, two, one. That's another reason I like Molex KKs. The fittings are large enough you can just label them with a marker. Saturday night, I'm all in for watching you just put inserts in plastic pieces. Is it easy enough to upgrade the extractor on the 2.4 to an M4? I'm assuming you mean extruder. It depends. If you're running a Mobius 3, it's just straight replace. If you're running with the afterburner tool head, with the direct feed setup, I would keep it direct feed personally. But you can just swap out the parts and make it Bowden if you really wanted to. I forgot to print skirt parts. I don't have skirt parts for this. Look at cleaner. For the screws. Belt sander. I don't have a belt sander, actually, I don't think. I may have a palm sander, but I don't think I have a belt sander. Although, honestly, if push comes to shove, I just melt them in deeper. No skirts. Subscribe to my only benchies. Okay, how does this attach? That is with the big guys. It's actually going to be interesting to see, too, because these are the printed 82 gears, and they've been running since a couple months before 2.2 went live. So it'd be, that's another reason. I want to see how the condition of everything. Oh, yeah, I forgot. You got to go up at an angle here. This is the downside of keeping a design or a mounting solution from old days. Is because this panel, I can't remove this panel without removing pretty much all the electronics. So that's kind of a downside to the way I have things set up. So that part's kind of poop. Actually. Because the my bottom panel here is structural to the integrity of the electronic compartment. Unfortunately. Okay. But I guess you could say that's a safety feature, because now if anything catches fire in the chamber, this is an aluminum plate to prevent the fire from going anywhere. So I guess that's a safety feature? I don't know. Come on out, Bill. Doesn't want to feed. Feed. Just pull it. There we go. Okay, so we gotta get the motor off. Do I need a 4 GB Raspberry 4? Is 2 fine? I think people recommend getting the 4 just because. I know the 8, there's no point. You probably would be fine with a 2 gig, but most people I've seen recommend the 4. But I'm using Pi 3s, so. Where'd that go? Always dropping my Allen keys. A few months ago, I built a 300 by 300 by 400 all MJF 2.4. They needed a Voron anonymous support group. Yeah, we have the Discord. Join the Discord. It can cause issues because some images aren't up to date. Okay, yeah, it's a. I'm assuming it's a Linux thing, 32-bit. Can anyone tell me how the DIN rails are supposed to mount? I think it's in the manual. I'm not 100% sure. I don't use the DIN, so I've never actually had to look at it. Is the silicone impregnated sleeving similar to what Noctua uses? If you're referring to this is just some random sleeving I found from work just to kind of keep the cables bundled up a while ago. Link to the Discord. I think I have it in my description, channel description somewhere. Or it's in one of the videos, at least. Okay, so... There we go. Feels kind of bad to be throwing out all these parts, but they're obsolete. Yeah, or go to the Voron Design website and go to community. I think it is. How is the gear? Any brittle or signs of wear? Honestly, it looks brand new. Like, I'm taking the screws out right now, but honestly, the gear looks fine. Teeth look good. Like, honestly, this thing looks like just fine. Other than Loctite getting everywhere. Yeah, the gear looks fine. Yeah, I'm legit surprised that the gear is that good. What is the advantage of the new gear design versus the 2.4 friction fit ones? It's been a while since I've played with the 2.1 Z assembly. I know the 2.4 is arguably the best, simply for the fact that you can use metal gears. And the metal gears are just better than the printed ones, for the most part. We'll be able to use an SD card instead of the Raspberry Pi. What do you mean you'd be able to use an... Oh, instead of... What do you mean, Benatar? Heat set remover. Removing the heat sets isn't too bad. What you do is you use the iron to whatever temperature and you just push it in. Let it get warm and then you can just pry them out. So, yes, save your heat sets. Don't just assume, oh, hey, I have a million of these. I'm just going to throw out any that I don't need anymore out of a part. Because you'll do that and then eventually you're just going to run out. Garbage. Trying to save as much as I can. There we go. Even that part. So much plastic. Versus, like, this is it now. It's that. So much plastic. Okay. So, let's put one of these together. We got our motor. We got our heat sets. Apply thread locking compound. That's already done. Hopefully it lines up the same so I don't got to redo it. Okay, so let me get some of the better bearings that I got. We're going up to no more of these ZZ. We're going RS on everything. So we have bearing. I got some Loctite or nail polish residue there. Okay. There we go. 80-tooth gear. And then M5 shim, which another 625 bearing. And then a 9 mil pulley. I don't think I have any 9 mil pulleys, so I'm just going to reuse. Yeah, I don't think I have any 9 mil pulleys. 20. Oh, I do. Perfect. How many do I have? 1, 2. Come on. 1, 2. I only got 2. 3. Do I have a 4? Do I have a 4? I do not. So what I'm going to do is just use the 9 mils where I can, and then one of them I'm just going to shim out to, actually. Oh, no. Yeah, so I'll just use the 9 mils, and then I'll just shim out one of them to wherever I need it to be. That's not really a big deal. It's not a deal breaker. Yeah, I know I'm using a 6 mil belt, but you can use the 9 mil just fine. And honestly, the 9 mil is easier if you have it because you don't have to worry about alignment as much. But in this case, I don't have it. So I'm for 3 of them, I'm going to use 9 mil, and the rest I'll use 6. Not a big deal. That on. Go. So for those that don't know, it centers on this middle bearing. So the spacers are on each side, and you would basically put it in the housing, and you would push the 80 tooth and the 20 tooth together while you tighten the set screws. Okay? So I'm going to need some... Oh, I'll borrow these. Well, I spend the whole night looking for Allen keys that I put in random spots. Nope. Yeah. With the duet, okay, let me see if I can catch up on chat here. I think it's worth learning how to set up Pi and Clipper. Yes. Honestly, Clipper is, once you get Clipper set up, it is a little bit more technical to set up because you do kind of have to SSH in a few times and know how to get files off of a Raspberry Pi remotely, which honestly isn't super hard once you know how to do it. And with Mainsail OS and Fluid OS and other options for installing it, it's a lot easier than it used to be. With Duet, you don't have to use Clipper. However, I like Clipper, so I'm going to put Clipper on the Duet because it supports it. Because, why not? One second here. There we go. There we go. Make sure we got purchase on all sides of the The rod's sitting on the bearings right. Good there. Now, if you don't have fancy thread locker, nail polish. Go buy like a cheap dollar store nail polish. That works plenty good. Let's see here. Bed is moving and Corix Y and the Z, which is not the issue with Trapalotin. Can you use white lithium grease for your rails? That's what I use. I use white lithium for my grease on anything that uses grease. I got this big old tube mobile synthetic grease that I've been using for a while, and I barely made a dent in it. NLG 1.5 or something like that. It's not quite spec, but honestly it works good enough, and I've never had an issue with it, so I'm going to keep using it. Arthur, if you're looking into tool changing, yeah, the V2 is not the optimal setup for tool changing. Like, I'll be the first to admit it, and many others will be. But that's why the V1 exists. If you want to build a Voron for tool changing, I would use the V1 as your base. Because that has a fixed gantry, and it's the same gantry, only it's fixed. Okay, so we need our belt loop, which is... yeah, that one looks healthy. I'm going to use the same belt, because why not? Together, M340. Oh, hopefully I have enough M340s. I'm hoping I do. I haven't stocked up on screws in a while. Actually, let's put that together. Quick little tip. Anytime you're putting two pieces of plastic together, get yourself like a bastard file and just run it. Because even with good tuning, sometimes you'll get little like pimples or zits or whatever on the surface of just where like retracts were and whatnot. So just running a quick rasp over it just to clean it up will help. So that would mount up like that. That goes there. Okay. Yep, I try to watch the chat as much as I can. Like that's one of the reasons I started these streams, was to help people with questions, so I try to pay as much attention as possible. But yeah, okay, so the advantage of the gantry, because I didn't quite catch it all, but having the gantry move versus a fixed gantry, you have consistent mass moving. So it doesn't matter at what stage of your print, your moving mass is the same. And the gantry itself is lighter than the bed, so you have less moving mass. The majority of print time for the majority of people is spent at lower Z heights, so you're going to have a much lower center of gravity for the vast majority of the prints you're printing, and it's a more stable setup. So You can tell Nero's a machinist or working in a machine shop. I am a mold maker by trade. Okay, so let me go digging for M3 screws. No, maybe. So I build plastic injection molds by trade. Ah, M340s, I do have enough. Heck yeah. Yeah, I can't run CNC. We got bays of CNC machines, but I'm more familiar with the Bridgeport. Okay, so back to the manual. So we got that part assembly. I'll put the heat sets in after it's all done. We'll do that part later. Okay, so we got to put our motor thingy in. So design has actually changed. So if you see here, it's 4 pieces. The actual current revision is slightly different. It functions exactly the same. It's just we changed it up for beefcakiness or something. I can't remember. I think the original part had a cracking issue. Which way do I have the wires go? Out. So on this one, I would need wires to come out like that. I might have an issue. Am I going to have an issue there? Oh, those go on the bottom like that. What am I thinking? Yeah, so that would go like that. Yeah. So that goes there. I probably should have seen which side of motor I was building. Yeah, so this goes there. That goes like that. Wait, no. Oh, that goes like that. Okay, that goes like that. Oh, man, I built the wrong one. I built the wrong side. Let's swap this. Not a big deal. Ali Diamond member. Yes, I'm super I'm big in Japan or China. You get all your fan centers and nuts from Banggood. So for the most part, most of my main stock, I was kind of lucky and was friends with the Fastenal rep at work. So I was able to kind of hit them up for getting fasteners and screws and whatnot at cost. But nowadays, unfortunately, with Rona, that is not as easy to do. So now these little dumb kits of like a bunch of random screws are usually enough to kind of make up what I'm missing. But personally, go buy one of these like drawer cabinet things or whatever for screws. I can't remember what they're called. Go get one of those and just stock the hell out of it and keep it, because you'll never, it's better to never run out of screws than to run out of screws, trust me. Like, I managed to build pretty much my V0 and switch wire with screws that I just had. I didn't have to order anything for them for the most part. So I need the opposite side of that. This one, okay. Okay, so that goes there. So the plan is to get the Z installed. And then once the Z installed, we're going to have to start, well, I'm going to, you guys can watch. We're going to have to move some electronics around here so I can actually, I'm referencing the other printer that I have to my left here just to make sure I have everything right. Okay, so that would go there. Okay, perfect. I'm going to have to move a bunch of stuff around. They have to fit a Raspberry Pi, so I think I'm going to have to move the buck somewhere and put the Pi here, and then put the, or put the Raspberry Pi there, put a buck there, or a power supply there. I still have to buy it. I don't know if I'm going to go with a buck or a power supply. See what I can find cheap on Amazon. McMaster. Yeah, that's another good one. Like, in terms of just actually product, they have good product. But I live in Canada, so I can't order from them. Oh, it's got plastic in it. Oh. Does Bolt Depot ship to Canada? I don't know. I've never tried. Keep dropping my alley key. It's a nice lab you have there. A lot of space and a lot of parts. I don't have a lot of room. I think I might do a room tour video just to show off the setup. But literally where the camera's sitting at right now is the wall. And I have about that much room going. We got printers, pile of crap, door. There really isn't a lot of room. I mean, it wasn't too bad until I started streaming, and then I kind of had to move stuff, so I had a streaming setup. Yeah. So sometimes when you put in a heat set insert, you'll get plastic that'll prevent you from screwing a screw in. What you do to fix that is you just kind of screw it in from the other side for a bit. That will clear the plastic, and then you can screw it in the correct way. So. Although I probably actually will be doing some work on this room. Just because I am doing more content down here. Screw in. Dang it. I wish I had an air gun in here. Maybe moving some stuff around. Because right now, like, I got dead room in this corner here because I got a safe I got to move out. They can move that out so I can move the bench over a bit more. Maybe paint the walls. I don't know. So that's all good there. That's good there. I don't know. Make it more of a proper studio. Yes, gun safe. The reason this bench is that beefy as it is originally a reloading bench. Like, I built it as a reloading bench. So. So we got good movement there. There we go. Okay. So this guy will mount. So there. Those are going to put down. And then I think it's the other way. Because there's a yeah, so the gap goes away from it. Yeah. Oh. Arthur, $20 CHF. I'm not sure what CHF is, but thank you, man. Appreciate it. You have more room than me than I have. Get a beverage of your choice on me. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the stream tonight. So I need that one. And that one, the motor goes like that. What are we using? M3.8, which I think I'm reusing. Those are 6. Why do I have M3.6? Where's M3.8? Don't tell me I'm out of M3.8. Oh my god. Okay, plenty of M3.8 here. We're good. We're good. No, honestly, the room's fine. It's just that I need to move some stuff around more just for streaming. That's the only thing I'm not happy with. Like, the actual setup for, like, a room that we're working on is great, but for streaming... Dylan RC, I still have it. It's sitting in a closet. Dylan 550B. I used to do a lot of USPSA, IPSC, and IDPA. I was big into that for a few years. Back when I was single, back when I lived at home, back when I had a lot of spare income. Well, not spare income, but I didn't have a mortgage. I buy M3.8. Yeah, Raymond, I used to. Wait. No, those are M3. Oh, jeez. Oh, yeah. I got plenty still. Okay, so that goes there. That goes there. So M540. Socket head. Okay, M540 socket heads. I hopefully have enough M540s. 2, 4, 6. I am short 2. God dang it. Hopefully I can fit button heads in there. We'll see. I should be able to. So that goes there. Oh, I'm gonna have to flip that guy over. Tweezers. Can you get... Does a Voron 2.3 exist? No, it does not. Same with a Voron 1.7. They just don't exist. M335. I doubt I will. If I'll fiddle with it. I'm sure I could fit a button head. If I need to turn down a button head quickly, I will. Or I might have something in the stockpile somewhere else. What I do need is the right Allen key. Okay, so the reason 2.3 and 1.7 don't exist... Where's the right Allen key? Am I missing the right size Allen key? Oh, there it is. So 2.3 was based on 1.2, and 1.7 was based on 2.3. And what ended up happening was the whole design was basically thrown out and started from scratch. And to basically differentiate the fact that it was started over from scratch, the number was retired. So... Because basically 2.4 is taking everything learned from, you can see, sorry. Taking everything learned from 2.1, 2.0, 2.2, and then building a V2 with it. Whereas 2.3 was kind of throwing more on top of it. So it's just easier to start from scratch. What do I got T-nuts in here? T-nuts? What is this? Goodbye, T-nuts. M5 T-nuts. There we go. Even I'm running out of M5 T-nuts. Holy hell. M510 and the belt goes there and the locking. Yep. Okay. M510. Actually, I think I have... No, those are shorter. Okay. Plenty of M510s. I'm good there. Thank God. Yeah, 2.2 was more complicated than it needs to be. That's another thing. Like 2.4 is a simplify. Wait, what am I doing with a blank one? I got one with a motor I'm supposed to be using. Okay, so I'm gonna have to move that drive here down. I will say, nail polish works really good as a Loctite. Almost too good. Almost too good. A little too good. Let me pull this off and clean it. Oop, flange came off. Pliers. Do I have pliers somewhere? Yes, the 2.4 Z drive is honestly better than the 2.2 in pretty much every way. The only reason I didn't switch was honestly just laziness. It was good enough. I didn't bother. You know what? I'm just going to put a fresh 16 on here because this is kind of galling it up a bit. 16 tooth gear. Where am I 16? Bunch of these down. There we go. Fresh 16 tooth. I got different styles. I don't like that style. Let's go with this style. Okay, so go in there, go over there, and you come over there. Okay. And lever arm is cost of a Voron. It depends which one. A 250 V2 will probably run you around 1200-ish USD. Kind of really depends on where you are in the world, what things are like in your current market, and shipping costs. What brands to avoid to trigger instant death, my wife? Just go buy some really cheap stuff at a dollar store. That's what I did. I just went to like a Dollarama and bought them. Sorry, I keep forgetting to put the camera back. There we go. Okay. So essentially how it works for this part is, let's see here. So how it works is you got your 16 tooth, and drop that even more. So you line up the 16 tooth, the 80 tooth, but your belt will move fine. And actually, I'm going to have to flip it. Dang it. I forgot. These motors have a longer, the ones I'm using have a longer thing on them. Drive shaft. Yeah, even on the other ones I had to do it. There we go. Because this was another problem on the 2.2, was ensuring proper belt tension. And that was always an issue. Because you have to tension the belt, and people were either over tensioning it or under tensioning it, and it was causing issues. So now it's just a clamp. So you screw them in. You got to make sure that it's not too tight so it can still move. You make sure the belts are lined up. Tighten your set screws so that everything's locked. Okay. And then to tension, you simply move the little lever that you can see right there. And you just push that over, push it down. Make sure everything's still lined up. You may have to like make sure your motor doesn't rack, so you may have to like just hold it with your hand just to make sure it's unracked. And then tighten. And then once you're tight, your belt's tensioned properly. Spin it a few times, make sure it's not rubbing on either of the gears, on the flanges. And you're good. So now the fun part, let's feed the belt through. Oh, hey, look. Unlike the 2.2, we actually have a hole in the bottom. You can feed your belt through it without having to fish it through, like a Neanderthal. Although a pair of tweezers makes it a bit easier. If I can find where I put my tweezers. Come on. Did anyone see where I put my tweezers? There they are. Damn it. The belt has a bend to it, so it kind of... Which printer is faster? It really depends. Like, the V2 and the V1 can pretty much push the same speeds. The V2 has a fixed gantry, or the V1 has a fixed gantry, and the V2 has a lower center of gravity. So, both kind of have advantages and disadvantages in terms of max speed, but both of them are perfectly capable. All Vorons are perfectly capable of outrunning a V6 hot end. Come on, get through your hole. I hate running belts. Although belts are easier than wires, I will say. There we go. Okay. So I should be able to back up through here. And over the idler. reattach. So, oh heck yeah, perfect. Belt life is the same. Sorry, camera, I'm sorry. Heck yeah. I can reuse the same belts. Thank God. The only extra belts I have right now are not, they're okay. I'm using them in my V0, but they're the pouch, like first generation belts that they came out with. So they're not quite, you know, as good as these guys, as the Gates belts. But they work, just I wouldn't want to use them for Zed. Okay. So that is one done. 10 for 2. Oh, that's gonna be fun. Ow. If you ever want hell, undo a 1-inch bolt that's screwed into like that much thread depth using an Allen key when you have about that much of a window. And you're constantly just I almost have that situation going on right now. Yeah, volumetric flow is a thing a lot of people like. Whenever you see those videos of printers moving like really fast or printing really quick, 9 times out of 10, it's with a small nozzle with a low layer height. Because yes, your printer can move at 500, 600 millimeters a second. However, there's no way you can melt practical amounts of plastic and have a good enough print quality at those speeds. That's why you always see, like, whenever you see a demo of a printer printing stupid fast, it's always a cube or a circle or some very squared up geometric shape, because it really can't print like a Benchy at that speeds. I've tried 300 millimeter Benchies. They always turn out looking like garbage because you can't get good results out of it. Come on. There we go. Okay. Don't backfeed the motors. Where is this? I just got back from a 2-hour drive to pick up my in-laws Ender 3 with, I think, a failed controller. I need to get back in shape and back to them. Go throw an SKR Mini E3 in it, and it should be good to go right out of the box, I believe. And then you get an S controller out of it. Because the SKR Mini E3 is a decent controller, the V2 variant. Garbage. All the screws and washers. Since I regularly work with ABS in your daily job, is there any suggested needed safety measures? If the fumes annoy you, don't be in the room with them. But the amount you're exposed to during, an average 3D print is laughably small compared to anything in terms of exposure at an industrial level that would require preventative safety measures. Like, Google or look at pictures of plastic injection plants, and these are like facilities where all they do is produce plastic parts day in, day out by the tons. And it's just guys standing at machines in open air. So. What happens if you try to drive all four Zeppers with one driver by splitting the cable? You would lose the whole gantry tramming. Like, one of the advantages of the V2 and the fixed or the flying gantry is you could tram out the whole gantry to the bed and completely avoid the need to do any bed mesh leveling. And it's 4 motors because it's a square, well, it's U-shaped. 3 for a plane only exists in a world where both surfaces are perfectly flat. Which, and unfortunately, a home-built 3D printer isn't a perfect world. Okay, so I'm going to save this guy right here. This little printed sleeve, because I'm assuming this printed sleeve will work as a spacer, because that's what it's meant to be here for the 9mm. So I'm going to use that there. Because, yeah. There we go. All the plastic. Garbage. Has anyone tried to machine them? Yes, there's a guy right now machining them, I believe. Or he's found somebody to machine them. I'm going to take these all apart later. The only downside with it is while they can be machined, like if you were to straight like throw this on a CNC machine, you're kind of overdoing it because a lot of the parts, like especially if you take a look at the gantry components, you could do most of the gantry components, like the XY joints and the AB motor mounts, with plates and spacers. So you can definitely machine components or design this for mass production machining a lot easier than FDM. Because with FDM, you have to design with the fact you're printing plastic and you have to add extra support and whatnot and rigidity. So. Okay, so that guy's done. Oh, yes, the Voron Discord. I think we're over 9,000 people. So, Pouch makes good stuff, so you shouldn't have any problems with a Pouch kit, I will say. Okay, so I would need this guy, right? Because that will go there. Nope. Yes. So that guy. So we have, what was it? It was bearing. Gear. Yeah, bearing, pulley, shim, spacer, pulley. Okay. So this one I'm going to do, because we only have, 3 of the 9 mils, and I already used one. I'm going to use one of these. 6 mil. So because it rides on the back there, nail polish everywhere. This was a spacer that was from 2.2. I'm hoping I can use it in the same setup. And it should accomplish the same thing. Yeah, that works. Yeah. So that should work. Now, we designed it so that if you're purchasing, like you're building one of these new, odds are you're going to be using a 9mm Z belt. I'm just reusing my 6mm because I've been using it since v2.0, and it still works. So I ain't going to mess with what don't work. Plus, I'm saving a little bit of money. What was the price of Voron? Again, I heard I would budget $1,200. If you're in the US, budget $1,200. I unfortunately, you know, it's not a cheap printer. Like you have to buy 7 motors, you have to buy 2 controller boards. The bed itself adds a lot to the price. Like, it's cast aluminum tooling plates aren't cheap, unfortunately. Kinobo heater, like a lot of the parts are spec'd for good parts too. Like, you know, if you go to the sourcing guide, you're not going to find a lot of parts that were picked from AliExpress because they were the cheapest, put it that way. But if you build a Voron to spec, follow the manual, it'll perform flawlessly. That's why there's a spec. Because we know it works. What about building a switch wire? Would that be cheaper? Yes. You can build one of these guys for cheaper than you could buy a Prusa Mark III kit. And if you already have like an extra bed or a power supply or other random components from an old i3 or Mendel style printer, even cheaper. I thought the pulley has to be flush towards the center. I'm not following the reasoning for the spacer. I can't really get an angle here, but basically, let's see. Oh, I forgot to tighten the belt. I could do it now. The belt is designed so that 0 is against this surface right here, and then it extends this way. So with a 9mm belt, it would go to about there. But since this is only a 6mm, it only fills the 6mm void there. And before I go any further, I got to tighten these set screws. So the 6mm belt, like when it's designed off of not being centered. It's based off of like a 0 being on one side. So a 6mm belt would be like here, whereas a 9mm belt would be like this. So this part is the part you have to keep the same, which I did by putting a spacer over here so that my belt stays right there. My GT2 stays there. Okay, let me actually tighten this and do this properly now. Okay, so that is right there, perfect. We have over 100. Oh my god, we have over 100 watching. So for those unfamiliar, I try to stream every Saturday. A lot of the time though, like I started streaming because I was down here anyways and I'm bored talking to myself, so I figured I'd talk to people. So a lot of the Saturday streams are just kind of going over a topic just to help people with builds or just me working on something I need to be working on. and it's an open floor discussion. So if anyone has any questions about anything Voron related, because most of my 3D printer knowledge is based on the fact that I have 4 Vorons, it's about that. But it's kind of just a chance for a bunch of people to get together and shoot the shit about printers for the most part. Like next week, we'll be going over how to do a complete Clipper configuration from scratch, pretty much. Because there is no configuration for what I'm doing right now. So. Whereas some streams, though, like Thursday stream, for example, that actually had a full-on subject, so. And that was the Dragonfly, which I am legit so far pretty damn impressed with. So. Brian B, give Nero some likes, 6.99. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the stream tonight. There is a bit of delay on that notification. There it is. Okay, 40. I'm gonna have to roll this over on its side, aren't I? Oh, also, pro tip. For those that are working on their printer, especially a Voron, if you're building it or just doing maintenance on it where you're flipping it around a lot like I am, I didn't do it because I'm being lazy tonight. Take the bed out, because taking the bed out cuts the weight down a crap ton and makes working on it a heck of a lot easier. So, pull the bed. Okay, so you're gonna go like that. So you go through there. Go through there. And you can go back in there. But I have my bed with all the connectors on the inside the chamber. So that way, when I go to do any like serious maintenance, like a rebuild, I just pull the bed completely out of the printer. Yeah, tonight. Raymond, do you know about the true? Oh. Okay, so now we got that. You're going to want to go there. So I'm going to need... Yeah, because it stays away. Yep, so that one goes like that, and that goes there. Received the Fun Sword kit in 9 days. That's not bad. I will say, like, Allie's getting pretty good. Like, I remember back during the summer, it was horrible. Like, you were waiting. It was a lottery. It was showing up in 3 weeks or 3 months, or not at all. So I'm really happy that things are kind of back to normal when it comes to shipping. Like, right now, I've got stuff for my V0 I'm waiting on. some stuff I ordered on 11/11 I'm waiting on. I don't even know what I'm waiting on right now. I've got so much no, not so much. I just ordered a bunch of random stuff. Power drop from your household electricity concerns, running all 4 printers at once. I've yet to try running all 4 at once. The most I've had running at the same time is 3 so far. But you should be okay. The worst that'll happen is you'll blow a fuse, which most homes have a resettable breaker bar, so you can just go and turn it back on. But 15 amp circuit, I think one of these guys usually sits around 2 to 3 amps during running. Like when the bed's heating up, yeah, it's pulling more juice, but once you're at temperature, it's only pulsing a bit to keep the bed going. So usually it's not too bad, I think. I know a few people are running quite a few at a time without any major issues, but I try to keep it to 2 running at max usually, simply for the fact that I didn't build this home. I bought this home, and whoever did the basement wiring, previous owner, didn't quite do the stuff you're supposed to do. So I have a lot of hidden junction boxes and stuff that would make home inspectors cry. So I try not to stress it too much. Yeah. Plus, I also have this computer running on the same circuit and all the lighting in here. Oh yeah, I got to swap the gear here. Dang it. Like in the future, I may actually end up moving some of these to my garage because my power bar, like my circuit panel for the house, is in the garage, and I may actually just run a dedicated line and just run some of these guys in my garage. Problem is, I work on them down in here. So, according to my UPS, 450 watt bed, 2.4 draws, 2 to 360 running. It's not so much the wattage, it's about the amps. It's your amps you got to worry about, because most breakers, it's a 15 amp breaker. So once you hit 15 amps, they blow. There is a design using MGM 12 rails for bed moving and Y axis, but without any aluminum extrusion to support it. It's connected to the frame only by ends. Do you think MGM 12? So even though MGM 12, you know, it's hardened steel, and you think it's pretty stiff, MGN rails are designed to be mounted to something. By design, they are not meant to be a structural component. You are supposed to mount them to something. They're not supposed to be just kind of flopping in the wind. So whenever you see them being like structural and just being like the only thing like a gantry or something moves on, that's not how it's supposed to be. They are supposed to be structural or mounted to something. There we go. So yeah, so you're not supposed to have rails unsupported. They are supposed to be mounted to something. That's why they have a hole every 2 centimeters or whatever. Just received the frame kit for the switch wire today. Masumi profile, nice. Quality's top, and Fermil Labs price. Yeah, honestly, all my printers are Masumi for rails or extrusion, or yeah, the extrusion. Sorry, everything is Masumi. I would like to try some LDO stuff, but Canada. This one's going to be a pain because this is where the motor is. I know we have a supplier for them up here in Canada now for LDO, but for one, I don't have any Voron builds on the go at the moment. Like, I have no plans of scrapping any of these frames. So I would have to build a whole nother Voron to justify getting another frame. Get through your hole. There we go. I will say though, LDO apparently anodizes their extrusions after cutting them. So you get a better anodize on them, I think, from what I've heard and what I've seen. So if you're one of those people that's about, you know, appearances, that could be something to sway you towards getting LDO. Okay, there we go. That's 2 motors that we have done. 2 done. I'm gonna have to print new skirts for this guy. Here in France, one can't buy directly. Yes, in Europe, you can't buy directly from Masumi. You have to buy through, they only do business. You have to buy through a reseller, unfortunately. But with LDO and China kits, you can get a frame pretty easily. That's another thing, advantage with 2.4. It doesn't require the Masumi profile. Like if you look at the profile of extrusions you get commonly on AliExpress, yeah, here we go. So it used to be on these profiles, go to this camera, they have a little bit of a step before the slot, okay? I know it's kind of hard to see, but they have a little bit of step before the slot where Masumi is square. And with the fact that you used to have to inset your rails, you couldn't get them to sit over this gap with the China profile. You had to get Masumi. But that's not an issue anymore with 2.4. So that hasn't been an issue for all year almost. And yes, Fermio can hook you up. Okay, so there we go. That guy out. Okay, so which one is this guy? You know what? I'm just gonna unplug the other motors. Just see. The heck? Okay, my extruder motor goes through the wires of something else. Along anyways. Yeah, not bad. So for those that are curious, oh, nope, nope. It's not what I wanted to do. Stop. There we go. This is what SwitchWire is printing. And yes, I have crappy Wi-Fi in the house, so frame rate is garbage. But that's what SwitchWire is printing right now. It's that it does have the Dragonfly in it. So since this is a pretty quiet stream, since I'm building a printer, do you guys want to turn background music on? I know that's common. A lot of people run music in their streams. I could turn it on if you guys want. Some people like it, some don't. I can turn it on though. There we go. Yeah, music. Okay, I'll put on music. Here we go. Spotify. So for anyone that streams, there's this whole issue with DMCA takedowns of music. However, I did find playlists. Go to web player. Go. That Harris Heller, I think the guy's name is. But it's basically just royalty-free background music. So I don't know if it's too loud or too low. I don't have a proper setup, so I can't hear my own stream. I don't know. Too loud, it's too loud. If it's too low, let me know. Seems good. Okay, awesome. I'll leave that on. I know, unfortunately, like, I've done this before on stream. I did do the whole Tallboy build, so nothing is really new this stream. Next stream will be the interesting one because we're doing Clipper stuff. Sounds strange. Keep panning left to right. Advanced audio properties. There you go. Okay, it's mono now, so you shouldn't have to worry about it. Have you tried to flash your SKR bootloader to enable USB Clipper firmware updates? I have not. I tend to not update them as often as I should, unfortunately. I'm what you like to call kind of lazy in that regard, unfortunately. Like, for example, this guy is still running my Duet configuration from 2018. So, yeah. Latest Clipper update. All my printers are pretty much... Tallboy's running Octoprint and Clipper from whenever we flashed it back then. I haven't updated it since then. And the other guys are running, I think, the latest Mainsail or Fluid. So they should be relatively up to date. So I shouldn't have too much of an issue there. Hopefully. If I need to change it, I could change it. But yeah, that's one of the downsides of a Voron. It's a heavy printer, so doing maintenance on them kind of sucks. Except for the V0. The V0 weighs like nothing compared to everything else. Voron overhead crane. You know what? So right now I am looking at upgrading the camera. There's a few I'm looking at right now. I'm hoping I can get a good Black Friday deal. You know, I'm in Canada. Black Friday is really not a thing up here. But stores do sales. So if I do that, this camera right here will be relegated to overhead view. So I can get rid of the C920 that I'm using here and actually use it like I originally wanted to do and put it in Tallboy. But I have been looking at possibly trying to do, like, you know, was it football or any of the sporting events, how they have that sky crane where they have like the camera rides on a carriage on wire. Well, I figure it wouldn't be too hard to run like 2 wires across a room and have just a carriage, or even just Gates belt or something, some fiberglass reinforced belt with a NEMA in there with a 22th gear, and just have that be able to move across overhead while I'm working on stuff, so you guys can, you know, track or whatever. I'm trying to teach myself like Arduino and all that fun stuff, so just an idea. I'm trying to expand the channel into other than just 3D printing stuff. So sliding rack under the frame for the electronic. I've seen a few people do those. There are a few mods that do that where they have the electronics slide out. I know the V1, it's a backpack now. I dropped a screw. So much plastic on these. Thank God it trimmed down. Voron cam or drone. I have a drone. I bought a quad, not a drone. It's a quadcopter. It's one of the, like, the little racing ones. I bought one years ago, and by the time it showed up, the weather got crappy, and then it sat inside all winter, and it's been sitting in another room since then. I've like never used it, which is kind of sad, but okay. So we got that. Got that. 2 shims. Bearing. Al Davis, $2. Have you seen the Bond House Clipper toolboard? I don't think I have. I could take a look. If I Google that, will it show up? Because unfortunately you can't share links in chat. But I can take a look here in a second. It is a standalone tool head board? Like, is it like 1 stepper motor and enough MOSFETs and hookups for running a tool head essentially? I have seen those before. I don't think I've seen the Bond House one though. Let me take a looky-loo here. Bondus Clipper toolboard. Okay, so it's a tool head board. Okay, I've seen these before. There's been a few different implementations over the years. Those I really like. Because it allows you to use, and they do exist, a 6-stepper driver or 6-stepper controller board on a Voron, because then you don't need one for the extruder because you have that guy. And also makes it so you don't need to run 20 something wires to the tool head. So but yeah, the problem is you know, technically I could slap a ramps to the back of an afterburner and I can use it in the same way. It comes down to size though. You need something small enough that it doesn't interfere with, you know, current designs and whatnot, or allows you to get away with, you know, tolerances and whatnot you have. It's like I have the design in my head for the perfect hot end that would allow dual extrusion and filament swapping perfectly. The problem is the systems that currently use that setup are 1,000-ton injection molding machines. And scaling that stuff down to the size of a V6 or a normal 3D printer hot end isn't going to happen anytime soon. We are limited by the technology of our time, damn it. CR6E seems to have a board like that on the tool head. Their board on the tool head is more just a straight up breakout board. It's not a fancy, it doesn't have, it's a dumb board. Like there's no think part in it, I believe. I think it's just straight up connector board. It's not running anything, it's just splitting up power, I think. Or power distribution or something like that. A few other printers have it, where they just have you have a board on the head that handles like power breakouts essentially, so you can run less wires there, but you're not eliminating as many as you would with one of these, because with one of these you would just need to run basically a USB and a 12 or 24 volt to it. Oh, and okay, and it's for the strain sensor. Okay. Stay classy. I'm often enjoying some wifey and TV time. There you go. I thought you said wine. Wine with wifey is always good. I've got some rum for after the stream. Oop, I forgot to file this one. Take care. Oh, and if anyone's curious, all these parts that I'm using tonight, these were all printed on Tallboy, with a 0.6 nozzle at 0.3 layer height, using that Fadis high flow Dragon hot end, and parts all came out perfect. So I'm really liking that combination of a high flow hot end now with a 0.6 nozzle for structural parts, because they can just crank them out. All these parts were done in under 10 hours. So, like, this guy will probably keep with a 0.4 because it's only got a standard flow mosquito in it. But for anything that's structural and time consuming, yeah, 0.6 nozzle, I'm a huge fan of it now. Bondhouse, or Bondis, I keep wanting to say Bondhouse, has been dead in the water for months. I reached out to the guy to be a tester. He responded, but nothing new in 5+ months. Oh, okay, that sucks. That's the thing. A lot of times you see projects like this where, especially if it's driven by one guy, stuff just happens and stuff gets sidelined or put on hold, or, you know, for all you know, the guy could have guy could have Rona and just be gone. Like, you, that's the problem with like single person projects. Or they tried setting something up with a distributor that fell through. Who knows? Updated 24 days ago. That's not bad. Go back to the main view. Okay, so we're good there. So, did I build the wrong one? I think I built the wrong one this time. Oh, no, no, I did not. Speaking of, has anyone talked to Jim Sellers just to make sure he's okay? Just want to make sure he's okay. And for those that were here on Thursday night, you get that joke. Although it's not really a joke. I do want to kind of make sure he's okay. Wife probably had a chat with him. That was a multi-donation. Yeah, that was a multi-donation guy. Which, don't get me wrong, I got no problem with multi-donations. Oh, speaking of, Brian B, in memory of Jim. In honor of Jim, Brian Klossa. $5, $6.99 as well. Thank you guys. Cheers. He lives on in our hearts and our wallets. Raymond, don't make me join the crazy train. Choo choo. I did, Brian. It honestly it was a decent amount. I'm not gonna go into how much. But this way, it makes looking for a camera a little bit easier. Eric Atkin, $5. I really thought he was a friend of yours. I did have somebody I know who was in the stream, but it wasn't him. Jan for Nero and Jim. $4.99. Thanks, man. Raymond, why you make me do this? Because I provide you 3 hours of entertainment every week. Although, honestly, the most entertaining thing I did was almost get electrocuted. That was a while ago, so. Remember that, guys? That is a bit of a delay. But I give you mainsail OS. Okay. Yes, yes. Speaking of, I'm finally on the Prusa Slicer train. Friendship ended with Kira. Now Prusa Slicer is my friend. Oh, Steve Peterson, Raven, maybe do it. $5. Thank you, man. Any chance for Magic Smoke tonight? Hopefully not. I'm only plugging motors back in that I unplugged. So I don't think we'll be dealing with any spontaneous combustion tonight. Which is a good thing, because that would delay stuff. Super Slicer. Yes, actually, I might try Super Slicer as well. I know Prusa Slicer just had a bunch of updates. Like, they're doing a bunch of alpha updates that people seem to be pretty impressed with. So I might try that instead. But like, these were all these parts right now. Tallboy, my profile for Tallboy is Prusa Slicer. And I probably will be making a profile for Switchwire next. Actually, I will be, because once I'm done these comparison prints, I'm going to be using Prusa Slicer to make an actual profile for Switchwire. Because right now the profile, like, for those that don't know, Switchwire, the profile, we literally hashed it out in like 10 minutes one night on stream last week. So I probably will go through and make a proper profile for it now. Okay, good there. Make sure that's all tight. Yep, okay. One more to go. How am I going to do this? Flip it all the way over. That motor. Okay. Hopefully all these things falling out of here I don't need anymore. That's a T-nut. Okay, I don't need the T-nut. So that motor. Okay. I can't flip it up on that side because that's got the screen. Can you do a stream on the process to make a proper profile for a printer? I might do that next week we're doing Clipper. We'll see. The problem is for profile, it's pick a base profile that's close to the printer you have and then tweak from there depending on what you need. Super Slicer has too many bugs for my liking. Yeah, that might be another. Yeah, the newest Alpha 2 of Prusa Slicer should be pretty good. Oh, Alpha 4 is the one. It's got the new plater arrangement. Yeah, making a proper profile takes time. Like, I've been tweaking the profile for, well, this guy and Cura for years. Like, I still change stuff every now and then. Oh, that's gonna be annoying. Dang it. Any chance you can do an 80? I'm not, if that is the ADXL, if that is the sensor, the accelerometer, I don't have one, and I've yet to play around with that. So unfortunately, I can't really do a guide on that yet. You know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna flip it face up and let it rest on the panel. I think yeah, okay. Nope, that ain't good. Filament to the rescue. There we go. That works. What is shifting? There it is, okay. Oh wait, I'm undoing the wrong one. What am I doing? I'm doing the top. I haven't even been drinking yet, guys. What the hell? Top one. There we go. Yeah, that's annoying. Where does everyone pick their eSign up in the US? I think Amazon is where most people in the States get it. Little tip for those that use these Allen keys like I do. If you ever have it in long ways and you need to like loosen or tighten something and you can't get enough torque on the little stubby end, just use a little pipe. Usually that'll give you enough torque. There we go. The screw I couldn't get at because the board was in the way and I didn't want to take the board out to undo the screw. So I broke it. There we go. It's all going in the garbage anyway. Interservo, yeah. They also, I think they're the importer for KVP, or an importer for them. Filament Stop use KVP. Yes, unfortunately, not everyone lives in the US and can get KVP for a decent to actual get it prices. So, must be nice. Okay, so just general call of hands. Between video and audio, what would you like? What do you think needs a bigger improvement for the stream? Video quality or audio quality? At the moment, I'm linking towards video. I think the audio, the way I have it set up now, especially now I have the noise filter engaged, is better than what my video output is. Video, yeah. That's what I figured. Well, that makes it easy. If you want to see something sad, go back and watch like my first stream. My first streams were horrible. I just had the 920. I just had the 920 internal audio, and I don't think I even talked for like majority of it. It was like, hey. Cool. Okay, so video it is. Honestly, this setup, I moved the mic. It used to be over there. I moved it here. And I got the active noise canceling going. And I tweaked the audio settings a bit. So I think the audio is actually at a pretty decent level right now. So. I was looking into getting a lav. Early stream. I did read chat. I just didn't interact. Like, I'm still pretty much doing the same thing I did back then, only now I have production quality somewhat. And a computer that doesn't die if I try to actually do more than one thing at a time. Yeah, I don't think I need a lav. Honestly, I think the lav, once I switched to turning on the noise canceling, that pretty much ruined the need of, or removed the need to get a lav. Organizer for desk clutter. I think if you're the guy from last week, I think I am gonna clean and organize everything in the coming days. Everything's kind of just gotten everywhere. Chat controlled desk rover. I'm not Michael Reeves. I don't have a drill chan to go off every time you guys donate. Or a robot dog. Okay, so last one. Everyone says they will clean up. I will one day. Didn't I do a whole stream where all I did was like organize screws? Or I might not have made that one public. That might have been for like, that one might have been a test stream for a few people. Yeah, I think that one was like dev team. First 1,000 donation, Nero will clean. Somebody does that, they're insane. Now I get why people stream, though. I will say, I get why people do it. Honestly, I'm just having fun doing this. Prepping to move. Oh, I'm not moving anywhere. If I move anywhere, I'll be moving stuff into the garage if I have more room in here. Oh, Jim's here. How you doing, Jim? How many calls from your credit card company did you get? What time is it anyways? 10:20. Oh yeah, we got plenty of time. Get this motor installed, get everything hooked back up, do some quick cable management, retune the belts, and make sure... There you go. Jim, $5. Must share the love. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. I even have notifications now. Although it's the zombie. Or no. Oh no, it doesn't show the little animation. Never mind. It's a default animation. We'll roll with default for now, and if I like it, I'll give Streamlabs some money so I can get an actual theme. That was quicker. Normally it takes a minute for it to it just go broke. Don't go broke, Jim. Then again, the world's ending anyway, so Disregard apocalypse. Print plastic. I don't need a Prusa. Honestly, I would like to get my hands on a Prusa just to see what all the hubbub is about. But I have no need to get a Prusa. I have Vorons. Ooh, I had just enough M340s. Kevin Schofield, $5. The love is felt and shared. Awesome. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Building a 500 by 500 bear build. You're doing a 500 by 500 bed flapper. Now, honestly, it probably will be better than a CR10 Max or whatever the big CR10 is. I will give him credit for that because it's a proper frame. I'm personally not a huge fan of big bed flingers, but you're just gonna have to go slow and you can get around it. Ball screw on the Y. Ooh, that'll work. Personally, once you get above about 250, I'm a fan of box frame printers. They can still be Cartesian, and over a certain size, Core XY doesn't scale well, anyways. But I just prefer to have as least moving mass as possible. But then again, there are CNC machines that have a bed capacity of 40,000 pounds, where the bed moves in X and Y. So, there are ways to make things work. Takes more tuning. Going to box it in. At that point, just close the door to the room. That'll be better than any lax enclosure. Honestly, probably. Okay, so now I'm out of M540 button heads. Or socket heads. So button head fit. No, button head will not fit What am I gonna do here? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I'm gonna do nothing because the bin of spare screws has them. So we're good. Crisis averted. Moving on. Make fit. Bust out the angle grinder and just round off the screw heads. Rotate. There we go. Iron cast frames. Oof. Tagley 2345, $10. More love. Awesome, man. Or girl, I have no idea. According to YouTube, 99.8% of my audience is male. So I just assume you're all guys. It's a sausage fest, unfortunately. Or fortunately, depending on your background. It's all fun and games until the girlfriend realized cranking the heat in the house sky high to keep the ABS from warping the huge printer and won't fit through the door jamb. I think somebody did build a V2 that was too big to get out of the room they built it in. Like, it honestly wouldn't be that hard. Like, if you have an older house, most older houses, the doors aren't that big. There we go. That's good there. But that is a good way of making sure, like, if you don't have an enclosure, is simply close the door to the room and block all the vents. Keep air movement down. Ooh, who tagged me on? Okay, so if you try to reach me on Discord while I'm streaming, it goes into like streamer mode and I can't see any, like, it doesn't ping me. So if you're trying to get a hold of me on Discord while I'm streaming, I don't see it, unfortunately. $2:30 a.m. here, late night. Anyways, ciao. Take care, man. Get some rest. That is an early morning. Or late morning. There we go. Either there. Go back in here. Come on, there you go. That goes there. Tighten this back up. Okay, so that's tight. Yeah, okay. that goes like that. That's on the back, so you don't care about the color. I know I wish I could stream earlier in the day, because I know I have a lot of European people that watch the stream or the channel. Just unfortunately, like, my schedule doesn't line up with that for the most part. Because either it would be before I go to work, and so I'd have to like really schedule the time for it to make sure the stream finishes before a certain time before I gotta go to work. Or I come home from work at midnight and I go to sleep. Yeah, maybe I'll do a day stream during the holidays or something. We shall see. I gotta flip this one. Maybe one day I'll be able to afford to quit work. Well, the problem is with streaming as a career is you have to make enough if that's all you plan to do. Like, if that means like your main job, okay, I'm gonna be a streamer. I'm gonna be the ninja of 3D printing, okay, for whatever that would mean. It isn't a long-term solution. Like, I doubt I'd be streaming in 30 years, right? Hope to be retired in 30 years, but that will never happen to our generation. We're never retiring. So you kind of have to like make enough in a short enough period to cash out and be done. Which is kind of hard to do. It's a fad. Make bank and then retire. Yeah. Honestly, though, it is going a lot better than I thought it would. You guys are awesome, I will say. That's why I have no problem investing into this a bit. People keep... Linko, there it is. People keep asking for Patreon or whatever, so you know what? If it keeps up this way, and maybe the new year I will set up a Patreon or channel membership or whatever, or something semi-legit. But we'll see how it goes. There we go. Okay, I move that. We'll see. I used to stream Clash of Clans and it was so stressful trying to maintain a constant schedule. That's why I try to do just Saturday night. Just Saturday night. Kids in bed. Wife's relaxing, then going to bed. So it kind of works out with the Saturday night. The Thursday night streams were because I was laid off and I had nothing to do. But I'm back at work now, so those will be done. There we go. Okay, so that's clamp. There we go. Tighten that down. Okay, so we're good there. Okay. So all the motors are in. Let me make sure I didn't screw anything up. 1, 3. What time is it right now? 10:30. 4. And 2. Okay. Heavy. Oh, I don't have. Dang it. Forgot to put the feet. Gotta put the feet on. So, heat set time, guys. Oh, there it is. How's the switch wire print going? Like that. Yes, I know the frame rate's horrible. Crappy Wi-Fi. Yeah, not being forced. See, honestly, if the stream makes enough to help pay for the stream and offsets the cost that I put into it, which it is at this point, honestly, and allows me to work less so that I could spend more time doing fun stuff such as this, that's honestly what I would like. Like, don't make your hobby your job, because your hobby becomes your job and then it's no longer your hobby. So, yes, the Germans. Okay, so if I look at my YouTube channel and go by countries that view me, I, as a proud Canadian, am like 4th. It's like Americans, then Germans, and then like I think the English, and then Canadians in terms of like breakdown of who watches by which country. Really name that channel Land of the Group By. Yes, they group by everything. How's the switch wire? Okay, already did that. Any advice on how to get rid of the lead screw? TR88. Get the TR88 and the palm nut with the anti-backlash nut. It's the new spec for it, and that apparently gets rid of most of it. I'll be doing that on mine because I have the lead screw wobble issue. I'm just waiting on the TR88 to show up. So, okay, more heat sets. I don't have enough as is, and I'm dropping them. Build a printer with a fixed bed. Yes. Vorons. All the Vorons. Oh, yeah, but unfortunately there is no V0 with a fixed bed. So, yeah. Love the smell of melted ABS at 10 o'clock at night. I don't use my V0 as much as I would like to, honestly. Honestly, I think I've used... No, that's not fair, I don't think. Since the rebuild of the V0, I've used the i3, the Bonsai, more than the V0. That's because I had it on stream for a bunch. Like, I built it as a backup printer. It's a backup printer, and it's a printer that if there's ever a local rep fest or anything, I would bring it to that. So it's to show off a 3D printer and a backup printer. But at the moment, I have 5 functional printers, so I don't really need a backup. Originally, I was going to actually keep mine upstairs, but then I realized doing that with a 2-year-old, well, 2.5-year-old, probably not be a great idea. Likes to get into everything. Hope my Mark II survives all the Voron parts. Well, if it's a Mark II, odds are the parts are ABS, right? Because Prusa didn't switch to doing PETG parts until the Mark III, right? So you should still be okay. I think. Okay, so you know what? I'm actually... Where's my spare part bin? Because this is my Voron that I use for test parts, like this is my V2 dev unit, right? So whenever we're doing dev work, that's why I normally keep this guy all black, because parts get swapped out so often. But I do have a full set of spare parts for it, including accents. I just never bothered putting them on. So, I'm going to put red feet on this guy, because why not? M5 nuts. Where's my M5 nuts? M3T nuts. Oh, there's my M5 nuts. It's all PTG. Ooh, bear upgrade, Physec, Einstein. Okay. Yeah, I would print some spare parts first, just in case. My cable management is... Well, right now I got wires hanging everywhere. Honestly, just group it into groups and then run it down a channel. Like, there's... You know, getting good cable management isn't hard. You just have to think about it. One. I printed all my original V1 parts on a monoprice select mini back in the day, so you can get by on some pretty, you can make certain things work if you need to. Oh, that one goes down here. Okay. Okay, Okay. Reusing all the short little stubby screws that I have left over from those 80-tooth gears. Anyone put a Mobius on a monoprice Select Mini? I was about to. The plan was, okay, so for those that don't know, the bonsai that I worked on stream there, I built that guy. I started building him late last year, okay? And originally I wasn't even going to build it. It was going to be, I was going to upgrade the monoprice Select Mini that I had. It was my first printer. I was going to put a Mobius on it. I was going to put an SKR in it. I was going to fix the bed, or update the bed so that I could actually reach ABS temperatures. A new fan shroud, like a new tool head design, and basically make it good so that I could use it for printing ABS, to show off how to print ABS on an entry-level printer. But unfortunately, it straight up was dead. Like the rods, some of the bearings had seized and worn grooves in the rods. The controller was fried. I ended up fixing it, but there's no point. So actually, I was going to put a Mobius on it. I had it ready to go. I just fortunately never got to that point. Okay, so we'll get this last foot on. I got the wires hooked up. I'm not going to cable manage them right now because what I will do is once I make sure everything's moving, I'm going to have to move some stuff around so that next week I'll have a power supply and a Raspberry Pi in here. I just don't know where I'm going to put it. I think the Pi is going to go here. The buck, I think I can move it there. Or I'll just glue it to something. I got double-sided tape. I'll just glue it to something. It's a buck converter. It doesn't go anywhere. Zip tie it. Make it work. Okay. There it is. Okay, now we have feet. Okay, now when I flip it up, it should... There we go. Now the wires are pinched. We're good there. Okay, so yeah, tension these back up. So the trick is for tensioning them. I don't know. I don't have a set procedure for tensioning these guys. I have a question about the Z rails on V0. Is it normal behavior that they slide more resistant than a single rail? No, odds are you have binding somewhere. You don't want binding. Binding bad. Okay. Okay. And for those that are unawares, I know it's kind of hard to see. But this guy runs This is the beta afterburner. So, just to compare it, that's the current afterburner tool shroud. So, this guy is chonky AF. I don't think I have a lower shroud, the lower part. But this guy's about 5 millimeters, or yeah, maybe about 5 or 6 millimeters wider. And thicker this way. Yeah. But it's beta. Let's give it some power. Is there a reason why bed mounts are sideways? Okay, so back in ye oldie days of v2.0, this is how it was. Okay, it was changed in 2.1, I believe, to go this way. Unfortunately, I can't really change them because if I do, I have drilled and tapped holes in this plate that would be in the way, so I can't spin it. Okay, it's not a huge issue. It's mostly cosmetic. The reason that the probe was moved to its current position, by the way, was if there ever came out a dual nozzle probe in the future that didn't suck, it would allow you to be able to reach the Z switch, you know, that guy, with both nozzles. Because right now, if with it being on the side, you can only reach it with one. So a dual nozzle solution has never come out yet. So it's kind of, yeah. But honestly, it's either you lose X or you lose Y. It doesn't really matter. In this case, I'm losing X, but I get full Y. So, okay. The steps per millimeter shouldn't change. Motor direction shouldn't have changed, I believe. So, and yes, it's loud when it does that. There we go. There we go. Okay. So let's get there. That one is not good. Why is that not good? That one's good there. That one's good there. That one is not good. Why is that one not good? Where are you shifted out? Oh, I think I did that one backwards. I may have put that one together backwards. Let's take a look here. Bit of power. On your back. Why don't you line up? Yeah, that doesn't want to line up. Why don't you want to line up? It's not a huge deal, but it is a deal. Let's put her to the back. Let's put her to the back. Yeah, it should be okay. That's fine. Yeah. I've got random T-nuts from, I don't even know what revision still in here. I will say one thing about it still being rep firmware, there's no boot up time. Which sensor? This is a PL08, I believe. It's still the PL08 from God knows when. It's been a while. Where can you get a replacement magnet for a switch wire bed? 310 by 2. Okay, so it's custom. I use energetic for my spring steel and flex plates on my V2s. Oh, that's why, because I have that in the wrong spot. That's one. And move that. That's the one that I have out. Okay. So let's see if I can do this without loosening everything. So when it comes to tensioning your belts, okay, what I find is the easiest way to do it is kind of just snug them, do a gantry level, and then tighten your belts to their final tightening tension. There we go. Because if your gantry's all over the place when you go to tighten your belt, it's kind of harder to make sure they're good and even. Yeah. Gotta fix that one. And then what I'm doing right now is, because this is a 6mm belt, I just have to shift them in their mount point so that they line up. Right now I don't have them centered, so I'm just centering them on the where they lock in. There we go. So let me just get that up there. So we'll do a rough tension, or a rough. All right. Hit these stop by accident. Move so fast. It's running rep wrap. The rep wrap, my leveling routine for rep wrap is really quick. And if you can hear a noise in the background, another reason you shouldn't do what I did and use a aluminum plate is because it vibrates. The harmonics are horrible because the way I have it mounted, it's like just barely touching. Did I hit stop again? No. It's just barely touching extrusions in a few different places, especially the bed extrusions. So when it does rapid Z movements, you hear it, unfortunately. And unfortunately, I can't really get around it. But these printers live in my basement, and I really don't care. So at this point, what I do is I just go around and just feel the belts. And I just kind of make sure they have equal tension. And if they have equal tension, I'm happy. I really don't go too fancy into doing, like, I don't pull out a guitar meter or anything funky like that. I'm very just, that feels good. And if it prints good, then it's good. I don't worry about it too much. Like, you don't want to be in too tight. If they're too tight, you will have issues. And if they're too loose, you will have issues. That one was too tight. Yep, sorry. Wrong angle. Let's see. That is good there. And make sure everything is parallel vertically. That's one of the downsides with these Z idlers that I have. They're not self-centering like the current revision, so I kind of have to manually, yeah, that's level, and then tighten them. There we go. Brian B, $6.99. Brr. Yes, it goes brr. Is the STL for the display available, and what is it? It's a panel do. As for this display, honestly, I've had this display since the Slack days, and I don't have the STL for it anymore. It's a panel do. It works with RepRap firmware. It's designed for RepRap firmware and duets. Cover it with sound absorbing sheets. Honestly, with the panels on, it's not as bad. When it's fully enclosed, it's not that bad because it's this panel vibrating. So yeah, there we go. Okay, so we got our motors switched out. You don't have to change anything in the firmware. It's all hunky-dory there. Barrel, good day. Hope the stream is going well. It is going well. In fact, it's almost over. We're going to be calling it pretty soon, I think. Let's get there. Let's get there. Let's get it there. Okay. So the next thing I have to do is do some cable management under the hood and make some room to fit the Raspberry Pi. I got to go buy a buck converter or a power supply. I'm going to have to measure it out, see how much room I have, and see which one I get, and go from there. So, cleanup time. And as always, while I'm cleaning up at the end of the stream, I leave it open. If anyone's got any questions, it's open forum. You know, it's open forum the whole time. If you did enjoy the stream, or if you just joined us, it's all available video on demand, so you can catch it on my channel later. If you did enjoy it, make sure you hit that like button. If you'd like to see more stuff like this, don't forget to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at 3DPNero. And other social media stuffs. Actually, that's all I have. I have Twitter and YouTube. Y'all don't need my Facebook. What is your favorite flavor of White Claw? I've yet to try White Claw. I've yet to. I know I should. Everyone said good. I've yet to try White Claw. I think I even have some in the garage. I think my wife bought some, but I've yet to try some. Austin, those sound like fighting words. Yes, let's fight. Put the dono money to good use. I don't think a drunk printer stream would be a good idea. If I ever do a charity stream or something, maybe. But I don't think a drunk printer stream would be a very good idea. Hey, extra parts in the garbage. So hopefully next week I'll have the panels on too. 65, so let's go in there. Random gears can go in the random gear drawer. We're gonna upgrade the SKR, or I'm gonna stay with the Duet clone. And that is why the next stream will be figuring out a configuration for this guy, because it is a single Duet with no Duex. It has a expander. So let me get a closer view here so you guys can actually see. Whoop. That is my controller setup. Okay, so we have a Duet. Okay, and then we have attached to it through this bridge cable made by our resident French Canadian Andre. that attaches to the Voron 2 expander board, revision 2.0. I think you might still, the files for this might still be on the GitHub. But basically this is just a very basic expander board that has enough to plug in two, well, I could plug in three. I could put in another stepper driver, but I don't need to. And it has 2208s. And they are flashed. I did the one-time program flash, so they are stuck in spread cycle only mode, simply for the torque, because stealth chop at 300 millimeters a second is no bueno. And then it's got a little knock to a fan here that you can't see, powered by a buck, just to keep them cold, because this guy doesn't need cooling, but this does. So yeah. Is there a quick way of testing SKRs? Depends what you need to test on it. Like you can run them, you know, just plug some motors in and just tell basic movement commands or fans or whatnot. So can I can't link you them because I didn't create them. Andre made that bridge, and I think Brackshaw made the expander board. One of the old time Voron guys. I can't remember who, but it's they've been around. This board is old. Like that's v2.0 era stuff, and not many were made, I don't think. It's forbidden and is lost to time. Yeah, Brack did the ramps expander, and then Andre did the bridge that connected to a Duet. Because we used to have to run custom Duet firmware to allow the quad gantry leveling. Because the original Duet didn't run it. Now it's supported by Duet, but at the time it wasn't. And then Clipper became a thing. We all figured out dual ramps will outrun this, so we went there. Back in the days when you had to print uphill both ways, yes. You had to go raid the garage for some weed whipper line. I'm still impressed, honestly, that all these 80-tooth gears are perfectly healthy. Like, no cracks. That's actually one thing I wanted to try. Are they deformed? Okay, so I got 49.6. No. Not even ovaled. No eggs, nothing. These are still in mint condition. And these have been run. These have a few thousand hours on them. Still streaming. How's the progress? Mechanically, we are done. I'm gonna have to flip it face up, and it'll be up here when I go to do the wiring. But basically, all you're gonna miss is I'm gonna put a ramps in there and a power supply for it. And then next week we're gonna install Clipper on it. Close-up pic of the controller board. Yeah, there are pictures of this on the Discord if you search back far enough, I believe. Yeah, I have posted pictures of this because right now it's actually covered in dust. Like you can see where the fan is. It's dusty as all hell. Gotta clean it out. Like this guy doesn't get flipped often. Why not fluid? Well, it's gonna be. Honestly, it might be fluid. I might put fluid on this. I don't know if it'll be fluid or a mainsail at this point, but it's getting one of them. It's not. I'm not putting octoprint on here. Oh, of the pulleys. Yeah, sure. Take a picture. Okay, so I'll put those up. Schematics are in the Voron 2 Ripple under v2.0 branch. Okay, there you go. Yeah, so that's doing that. The overhang test is overhanging. That's coming along fine. So I think at that point, I think I'm going to call it a night there, guys. It is 11:11. So, for all those that joined the stream tonight, again, back to the old style of stream where it's pretty much just laid back while I was working on the printer, chatting, listening to some music. Hope you enjoyed everything. As always, hit the like, subscribe if you're not. I'm assuming most of you are at this point. Ring the bell, I guess. That's the other thing I'm supposed to say. I have a Twitter at 3DPNero. I post random pictures and real snippets and whatnot of stuff that isn't worth putting on Twitter or YouTube. But yeah, so next week, putting Clipper on this guy. So until then, hope you guys all have a good last half of your weekend. Get some rest and take care. Be safe out there. Wash your hands. Cheers.